focusing on Democracy Day celebration, of course, looking at the threats to our democracy as a nation. Corruption has been pointed out as one of the major threats to Nigerian democracy. The apex, or if I'm to say, the major cankerworm eating deep into the fabric of Nigeria's existence. It's now common practice and has become hard to deal with. The general mindset is that everyone has to be corrupt once they get to the seat of power. Many politicians have also proven that they are in office simply for malfeasance. This poses a major red flag to the success of democracy in Nigeria. Interestingly, Nigeria moved up 4 places in the latest 2022 Corruption Perception Index. Although the country did not improve on its previous year's points, according to the index released by Transparency International, despite maintaining its previous score of 24 out of 100 points in the 2021 assessment, Nigeria's position went up to 150th in the new index, compared to its 154th position out of 180 countries assessed in the 2022 rankings. The President Tinubu's administration clearly has its work cut out in the area of tackling decades of incessant corruption across facets of the economy and enhancing government effectiveness and transparency. Joining us to discuss this is Mr. Peter Shodende. Good morning, sir. You're welcome.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's take a look at, the analysis on how corruption has undermined the development of Nigeria, consequently limiting the country's development. What's your reaction to that?
Yes, when it comes to corruption, it's been one cankerworm that has been very, very, very significant and embedded in our own system here in Nigeria. You see, the Nigerian people from inception tried to liberate themselves from a lot of things. The first liberation was a liberation from the colonial masters, who were taking our resources and going away. Corrupt individuals just lord everything over us, and then they have their way. Then after that, the military came in. Nigerians fought. We want this democracy so that we can be free. At the end of the day, through the sweat and the will of the people, we were able to liberate ourselves from the military. Now, the final liberation. Nigerians want to be liberated from poverty, from corruption, from insecurity. That is why government upon government, Nigerians will troop out to vote and ensure that the people they voted would at least wipe away all these ills of the society, corruption, poverty, and co. But you see, the way the Nigerian system is structured in such a way, it's like if you look at the 1999 Constitution that we currently use, it's a document that was put together by the military. People did not sit down together. The Abdulsalam Abubakar government just said, okay, they drew up a committee, look at these documents that had been done by others, trash it and make a constitution for us. We are going into democracy. So at the end of the day, you find out that the way the system is structured favors corruption. You can see what has been happening from the people left PDP in 16 years and voted for the other party just because they said they were going to do 3 things. We are going to fight corruption, we are going to eliminate insecurity, then we are going to grow the economy. But where are we today? We find out that corruption is actually increasing by the day. You could see what is happening in the country currently. Do you talk about the Ministry for Humanitarian Affairs during the coronavirus? So everybody was at home, and we were feeding school children in Nigeria. All over the world, people were at home, no school, nothing. But Nigeria, the government was feeding school children. We could see airlines flying on borrowed wings in this country. People go lease aircraft from Ethiopia and bring it here, and you see so much money. But so the way our system is structured here, it's the winner takes it all. Our political parties and our political elites are in the system, not because of service to the people, but basically for who gets what, when, and how, and share. So that is why you see every government, it seems as if corruption becomes much more worse than it was before. If you look at where we are coming from in 1999 to where we are today, you find out that you just mentioned it, 154. This is a democracy of over 20 years. I think Nigeria can do better. I really think we can do better. But if we want to stop corruption, then we have to look into the system. We can't continue to practice this federal system we think we have and expect something different to happen. A situation whereby it's the president, the National Assembly that decides this is what happens to everybody. All your resources we control from the center, then whatever crumbs we give to you guys, just manage it. That is why you see a whole lot of inefficiency in the system. And corruption will continue to thrive until you do what you call full deregulation of this economy. You restructure it, a situation whereby you bring the government closer to the people. So that when I have this local government, who is going to be the chairman of this local government, it has to be somebody who had lived in this local government, not somebody coming from anywhere. Who are they? So by the time we are the managers, we own the security, we own the economy. So how you want to steal the money and go away? But because somebody is in Abuja, far away from you, and they just tell you this is what they have for you, you can't reach them. So they need to bring the government closer to the people. And the center should be a little weak, so that when the government is closer to the people, you can kill all these corrupt tendencies. Or else, we'll continue to live with it like that.
All right, let's stay a little bit on the speech made by the president this morning. And looking at it from the angle of previous administrations, good to say they've always had good, motive, especially with coming up with decisive actions, or decisions or policies that are meant to better the lives of people. But the trajectory, the process of getting them to that level sometimes can be very, very rigorous and, of course, very painful. And looking at his speech, thankfully, he recognized the fact that the pronouncement on the removal of subsidy will indeed make Nigeria go through some very excruciating pain, which he said in the speech that it was going to save Nigeria and Nigerians from unscrupulous elements who are ready to take advantage of Nigerians. Very, very laudable one at that. But he also boasts of an administration that would be very, very productive, especially with leading areas in critical infrastructure. Sectors like education, healthcare, road transport, and all of that. To me, I want to see practical steps or measures that have been put in place, visible enough, even to the blind, if I would say, that would give one that feeling of confidence on his government.
Okay, yes, it's good you said you wish to see something physically, but the government is still young, less than 2 weeks. But if you look at the first and the few steps he has taken, they are very, very bold steps. They are signals of what is to come. We have had subsidy from the military era, from Yakubu Gowon, up till the last administration. Government will come, government will go, we'll remove it, we want to do this, we want to do that, but nobody has been able to do it. And he faced it squarely. Even during his election campaign, he said it. No matter whose ox is God, I'll remove it. You see, governance sometimes comes with pain. If you look at what had happened in so many of these countries, Malaysia, Indonesia, countries that got independence as about our own time. I can remember a country, I don't know whether it's Indonesia or Singapore now, when they started to do their own rice. I think it's Indonesia. There were stones. There were quite a whole lot of issues, and the citizens were complaining. We don't want this type of rice. Let's keep buying from. And the president said, no, we'll continue to manage until we get it right.